Well, thank you very much for that question. I very much appreciate the time that you're all giving me today. 3 hours, I think it's wonderful. So I appreciate your time as well, because I know it takes quite a bit of commitment on your part. In answering the first question, answering the ensuing questions, I have a portfolio of sorts that I'd like to share with each of you for your keeping and maintenance. Frank, if you would, please. Thank you. There should be enough copies for everyone here. The portfolio as such is a reflection on my leadership philosophy and how I address student success through the leadership.
Keep talking.
In terms of preparation, you'll note that the portfolio has 7 sections within the document. The 7th section really is a reflection on the prior 6 as to how I feel leadership is most valuable in terms of promoting student success and working within a community college environment. I don't wish the portfolio to be a diversion from my comments, but just a reference and a supplement to my comments. And as I respond, you'll be able to reflect on the document itself and use it as a reference later on as well. So in preparation, I entered the community college environment back in 1987 as a chairperson and faculty member serving special needs populations. And with that introduction to the community college environment, I quickly fell in love with higher education, comprehensive community college. It embraced everything that I valued in terms of higher education opportunity for all people. In working with the disabled populations, I was able to gain a keen sense and appreciation for the mission of the comprehensive community college. And in doing so, I thought it was best, if I wanted to maintain my role in the comprehensive community college, to pursue a PhD. So concurrently, in my first 6 years of involvement with the comprehensive community college, I was able to address the PhD requirements and further allowed me to maintain focus and to take the next steps in the comprehensive career community college environment, going to Northland Pioneer College. And there, I was able to extend my awareness of diverse populations and the role of the community college by working with Native American governmental entities, populations, high school populations, and focus a great deal not only on student services, but instructional services as well. So my vice presidency went from student services to include also instructional services at Northland Pioneer College. During that time period, I learned quickly to assess and evaluate the needs of the population, the students, the constituents of the external environment, communities, and be able to put that into planning documents, put it into initiatives, and supporting the community college faculty and staff in meeting the mission of the institution and the area needs. With that, after 10 years, I proceeded and took the opportunity to be a campus president at Illinois Eastern Community College. I was able to maintain the focus on the high school populations, but also had the opportunity to become familiar with the correctional setting and a great deal of industrial workforce education, industrial support, and working and understanding and supporting the roles of advisory groups, program planning, program review, and strategic planning. And able to take strategic planning, where I first was initiated and responsible for at Northland Pioneer College, I continued that format of planning and being able to identify the value and the use for planning in terms of looking at it strategically and looking at it in future and how to benefit and how to move forward, allocating resources to best support the planning and the initiatives of the college. Had the opportunity to move on to Barton Community College as the district officer, CEO. It was a great move. It's been a great 10 years. I've been able to continue the strategic planning approach. I've been able to work cooperatively with the internal constituents, the faculty and staff, and work exceedingly well with the external constituencies. You'll note from my application materials and from the portfolio, able to identify not only through strategic planning, but through partnerships. Partnerships, totally, I can't emphasize enough the value of partnerships, not only as it pertains to workforce education, but also the higher education community in partnership with the four-year institutions. So with those brief comments, I'll rest and take on the next question. Well, reflecting on the change agent emphasis of the first question and relating it to the second question, expertise in financial management goes back to Northland Pioneer College. In fact, when we had the opportunity to pass a bond election and support the bond election and being able to place the emphasis of the bonds into buildings, into planning, into enrollment management and enrollment growth. In terms of using the financial resources and managing within a strategic planning approach, you're able to identify the goals, the objectives, and be able to link that to management decisions and management resources that you have available. How do you manage that? You continue to manage it through the planning process, but also the structure that you have in place for accountability. Accountability is crucial within the higher education setting, any setting for that purpose. And so accountability you have in terms of identifying through the planning process and the management process what the expectations are of not only the president's office, but of the offices of the business leaders within the institution and all divisions within the institution as well. Their role in the business management is shared by all individuals within the college. They all have responsibilities. So you identify what are the mechanisms, the metrics for accountability, how you communicate what the expectations are, how you collaborate, and you identify internally within the community college community what the expectations are in the planning approach and how all individuals can support accountability. They can support management and support strategic thinking. In terms of planning, you also have the human resources. In coming to Barton Community College, there were a number of steps that were taken in order for the institution to go through change. Barton Community College was experiencing challenges, great challenges. You may be aware of the athletic hardships in terms of the integrity and violations of the NJCAA. It led to a number of individuals losing their careers, one individual going to prison. The management of the institution was lacking in terms of decision making, in terms of business. And the institution was not only losing students, it had a major public relations, as you can appreciate, problem they had to address. The facilities were in disrepair, and the financial well-being of the institution was souring greatly. So what I did is led with the understanding and the support of the Board of Trustees in identifying the role of policy governance. What was the role of the district governing board? In terms of understanding what they expected of the president and what the president could expect of the trustees. We identified then the policy framework. John Carver's model of policy governance was the model being used for the operations of the institution, and the expectations of the president and what the president was going to achieve, address based on the policy governance. With the policy governance identified, the institution then looked at strategic planning, which impacts human resources, which impacts the business, and so forth, in all operations of the college. We had audits. We performed audits of the business office and the HR office, the financial aid office, audits of the athletic program, And we addressed the HLC focus reports. There were 4 focus reports, and the college was in trouble with its accreditation model as well. Through the audits, we were able to use a third-party evaluations, not the president's evaluations, but the audits did affirm many of the concerns that I had as the president. And we were able to use the audits as a springboard, as a foundation for moving and addressing the weaknesses of the institution within the business office, within HR, with the financial aid office, support of the academics, and giving support then to the operations of developing new programs. These audits fed into the strategic plan as well, and were the springboard for identifying the needs of the institution as it relates to business management, as it relates to HR, as it related to the academics, as it related to all operations of the college. That served as a foundation for the business office. It served as a foundation for HR. Also, through the HR, we identified through those audits a account-based salary survey schedule, which allowed the institution to reasonably and with justification identify salary ranges and salary schedules, which the college did not have at that time. It also provided a metric and accountability to the constituents that the college was addressing the very significant shortcomings of the college. And through the planning process and through these metrics and through these reviews, we supported the business office and HR. The business office and HR supported the development of programs. They supported the faculty. They supported the staff. They supported the college in moving the college forward. I think my following responses will elaborate further on that question, but that's my response. I place a great deal of value as it relates to my profession, as it relates to me as a person, the time spent at Northland Pioneer College in northeastern Arizona. It provided me great opportunities to learn more about myself, to learn about the community college, learn about higher education, and learn about students and learning about community needs. And identifying community needs, relating it to the community college, and how better to best serve students. In looking at my involvement with the community college and involvement with the community, I have to point to the establishment of the Northern Arizona Vocational Institute of Technology. It is one of 2 technology programs in the state of Arizona, I believe, the other one being in Mesa Community College. It's a consortium of school districts that allows a consortium of school districts to move vocational education within the high school setting and prepare high school students at that age and getting them focused on their careers, and then being able to allow higher education to come more quickly, more soon into their lives while they're attending high school. Well, this vocational district was recognized as a value for northeastern Arizona as I was in my 2nd year, and I learned of this model, learned of this opportunity. I was able to identify the needs of the 21 school districts, and they needed vocational education training support for their students. And so through my advocacy, through my buy-in to this concept, and there was a vocational district in Mesa at that time, and still exists, I teamed up with the community educational leaders. Dr. Crandall comes to mind, and he is the gentleman that put me onto this concept, this model. I and 3 other individuals, advocates, sought out and presented to 5 school districts in our immediate area: Winslow, Holbrook, Show-Low, Heber, and Eagerville, Springerville, Eager. And so we took this idea of a vocational district to the voters, to the school districts, to the populations. And we promoted this idea. And it had to go to a vote of their school district constituents, taxpayers. And what this district allowed is for additional dollars from the state to come to the high schools through those communities, the school districts, which allowed the college to partner with the school districts. And with the approval of all 5 of the of townships, cities, and the school districts, we were able to put a vocational district into place. I believe this was about 99, 2000. And so this allowed thousands of school district students within the first couple of years to access vocational opportunity. It allowed the college to work more closely in partnership with the school districts. It allowed for additional resources to come from the state and from within our district, taxing district. And now, the vocational district, I believe, has 11 school districts, 9 or 11, and it involves 2 community college districts in the state of Kansas. I happen to also be a founding board member on that vocational district as well. And so it was one of those things you wanted to make sure went well, and you wanted to do all you could to support the concept. To me, that was a defining event in my life as to how a college can work in partnership with constituents. And I took that belief, that philosophy, to Illinois Eastern Community College in working with the Marathon Refinery and being able to develop programs to fuel the workforce training, the workforce needs of Marathon Refinery in Robinson, Illinois. And I was able to even take that approach to a correctional setting, partnership with state corrections industry. Able to take that approach again to the high school districts within that college campus communities. Partnership drives enrollment. It drives student success. At Barton Community College, you look at the partnerships we've put into place in the last 10 years, and within that portfolio that I shared with you, and that you have, there's a section on partnerships. Barton has over 600 partnerships with area industries and businesses, profit and nonprofit. And there's a link there that will take you to the actual manuscript that's on the college website that shows the partnerships. College has partnerships with the state universities that drive our articulation agreements, that help us define our students in terms of what their educational opportunities can be and what they can do with their educational opportunities, whether it be vocational or academic. You also look at the partnership that the college, Barton Community College, has with the military in terms of identifying what the military needs are. And we're able to extend partnership not only with Fort Riley, but also to Fort Leavenworth and to military post locations outside of the state of Kansas, which coincidentally Fort Huachuca is a post that we provide services to, have to in the last 10 years. Partnerships also have driven the opportunity for us to work more closely with state government in the state of Kansas. We have accepted a grant and opportunity, training opportunity with the Department of Corrections, where we work cooperatively with the Department of Corrections, and we have training in 3 different prison locations. It's our goal that we'll have training locations the next go-around, the next 3 years, at all 10 locations. And the corrections industry has told us, we would like you to be able to provide expanded opportunity through online learning. Now, that is a real gamble when you talk about a corrections and giving inmates opportunity for online. But you can freeze online data. And so we've presented to the Department of Corrections an opportunity that can meet their needs, meet the prisoners' needs for learning and opportunity. So that's growing. And then we also have an OSHA. We're an OSHA, certified OSHA provider. Now, many community colleges and training entities would say, well, we provide OSHA training. Well, you can provide OSHA training, but you cannot provide 10 and 30-hour certified credit hour training opportunities. You can only do that through certification and affiliation with the Federal Occupational Safety and Health Administration. And so we are a certified provider, one of only 3 in Region 6. And Region 6 includes Kansas, Missouri, Nebraska, and Iowa. We're one of 3. So we have partnered with the federal government in that regards as well. We have partnered with state government, again, with the Kansas Department of Health and Environment. We provide training to all 105 counties who are required to provide waste management services and support to the localities. We're a community college, but we have partnerships that serve all of the state of Kansas. And we have partnerships outside the state of Kansas. We know at Barton Community College that if we just rely on our 7-county legislative service area, that we will decline enrollment, we will decline in resources, and will become a non-factor in the years ahead. We have to think outside the box. You have to establish new paradigms of relationship and association and partnership if you want to remain a viable entity. Within the portfolio, you'll notice that through partnerships, driving factor through partnerships, Barton Community College has grown over 30% in the last 9 years. 30%. That includes vocational, that includes academic. In the last 5 years, also included in your portfolio, Barton Community College is the only community college in the state of Kansas of the 19 community colleges. Of the 26 two-year entities, if you count technical colleges, to have grown in enrollment in the last 5 years, 20%. And that's based on Kansas Board of Regents information. I don't take gospel everything the Kansas Board of Regents shares with me, but when it comes to the college's advantage, we use their information. I've taken a long way of answering the question about partnerships. Partnerships, for me, has been a key indicator, a key factor in how a community college can operate and how it can be successful and how it can support all avenues of a community college operation.